Hello student, this is Pallad Rabari, your host, and you're watching Pallad Rabari classes. In this video, we will discuss the first chapters of business studies of class 11th, that is nature and purpose of business. Let us discuss the topic that we will discuss today. First, commerce, classification of commerce, and business risk. Let's discuss the definition of commerce. Listen, it involves the buying and selling of goods, and it also involves the services which helps in the free transfer of goods and services from producers to the consumers. So in short, we can say commerce means what? It involves the trading and exchange of goods and services. It is totally different from the industry. Why? Because in industry the production is going on, and in the commerce buying and selling of goods are going on. It also includes the services like banking, warehousing, because of which there is free transfer of goods and services. I mean, the activities by which the free transfer get hindered, it will be stopped by the services rendered through commerce. Let us see the classification of commerce. Commerce can be classified into two categories. One is trade and the other is auxiliary to trade. Trade means buying and selling of goods, and auxiliary to trade means services that assist buying and selling of goods, like banking, like warehousing, like advertisement, and so on. Let us see the role of commerce, trade, insurance, transport, banking, and storage and warehousing. I mean, commerce includes these five activities. Number one, trade, that is buying and selling. Insurance, it means the activity through which the risk is minimized. Transportation, it is the activity through which hindrance of place is minimized. Banking, it is the activity through which shortage of finance is minimized. Storage and warehousing, it is the activity through which problem of time is minimized. So this is the role of the commerce. That is what commerce do. We will discuss all these things in detail. Let us see. Trade, as we have seen, it involves the exchange of goods between the producers and the consumers, which in turn helps in making goods available to the consumers easily. A trader serves as a linkage between the producers and the consumers, and it overcomes the hindrance of person. Listen, if the trade is not there, then what will happen? Every consumer has to rush to the producer for the purchase of goods and services. And it's a mere Herculean thing for every consumer to rush to every producer for the purchase of goods. So this trade has removed the hindrance of person. Why? Because now we don't have to rush to the producer. That thing will be made available at your doorstep by whom? By the trader. So this is what the trade has done. Now let us see the insurance. It helps in recovering the losses incurred in case of any damage. In the business, risk is everywhere. So every businessman wants that this particular risk should be minimized, or some person should take the responsibility, or some person should bear the risk. So the commerce also include risk. Why? Because the insurance company is there. Does the insurance act as a shield against the risk, and it overcomes the hindrances of the risk? Insurance company charges the premium from us, and in consideration of the premium, they make good the loss. What it means? It means that if any businessman suffers a loss, that loss will be made good by the insurance company. So this also includes in the commerce. It removes or it hinders, it overcomes the risk. The next is transportation. Transportation enables the producer to move their goods to the market in order to sell them to the consumers. If the commerce is not there, it becomes very difficult, or rather it is impossible for the producers to take the goods or to make the goods available to the consumers. The commerce has removed through the transportation the hindrance of place. Let us see the next commerce activity, that is banking. Banking solve the hindrance of finance, and we know that finance is the lifeblood of every business. Without the finance, it is impossible for the producer to think of production. Likewise, it is also very difficult for the consumer to purchase the goods without the finance. So, finance remove the hindrances of the purchasing capacity and the production capacity. Through the finance, producer can produce the commodity, and through the finance, consumer can purchase the commodity from the trader. The next is storage of warehousing. Modern technologies has facilitated the production of goods and service in large quantities. So because of the modern technologies, now it becomes very important to hold the goods till it is being demanded by the consumer. So this problem of storage is minimized by the commerce through warehousing. Now it is possible for the businessman to wait for the right consumer who will pay good price for his product. Earlier it was impossible. Earlier what happens, whatever the money the consumers offered, at that very price the producer has to sell the product, or the trader has to sell the product. Why? Because the trader or the producer don't have the options to hold it for the future unlimited time period. Now with the warehousing or the cold storage, they can hold and they can wait the right consumer who will pay good money of their product. Now let us see the classification of commerce. Commerce can be classified into two categories. Number one, trade, and number two is auxiliary to trade. When I say trade, what it means buying and selling of goods. And when I say auxiliary to trade, it means services which makes the buying and trading of goods possible without hindrance, without disturbance. Let us see the meaning of the trade. Trade refers to buying and selling of goods and services. Classification, trade can be classified into two categories, that is external trade and the internal trade. First is import trade, export, interport, internal trade, wholesale trade, and the retail trade. In the case of the wholesale trade, the businessman purchase the product directly from the producers and sell it to the consumers. Trader purchase the goods from the producer and sell it to the retailers. And in the case of the retail trade, the businessman purchase it from the wholesaler and sell it to the final consumers. Let us see all these type of trade in detail. The first is external trade. The trade that takes place between two or more countries is known as external trade. Following are the various forms of external trade. First is import trade. It refers to the purchase of goods and services from the foreign countries in order to consume them in the native country. The point is clear. What is import? When the good is being purchased from the foreign country so that the demands of the domestic country should be meet out is called the import. Let us see export. It refers to the selling of goods and services from the native country to the foreign country. When the production is more and more people want to sell the goods to foreign countries so that more money they can earn. That is called export. Interport. It involves exporting goods from a foreign country with the purpose of exporting them to another country at a higher price. Now let us discuss the internal trade. The trade that takes place within the boundaries of a country is known as internal trade. There are following two types of internal trade: wholesale trade and retail trade. Let us discuss the wholesale trade first. It refers to buying and selling of goods in large quantities for the purpose of sale or intermediate usage. These goods are purchased in bulk from the manufacturers and are sold to the retailers in extremely low quantities. So what is wholesale trade? It is that type of the trade where the good is being purchased directly from the manufacturer in bulk and sell it to the retailer at in small quantities. What is retail trade? Let us see. It refers to the buying and selling of goods from the wholesaler in small quantities and sell it directly to the consumers in further small quantities. Let us discuss the auxiliaries to trade. The first is advertising, second, warehousing, third, insurance, fourth, transport, and the fifth is banking and finance. So these are the services which makes the smooth flow of trade. Because of these services, what happens, there is a uninterrupted flow of buying and selling of goods is going on. So let us see the glimpse. The first is advertising. Through that advertising, the information about the product is given to the consumers. Once they are having the information about the product, they will make the demand, and the buying and the selling is going on fluently. Second is warehousing. Because of warehousing, it becomes possible for the businessman to hold the goods for the longer period. He can wait for the right consumer to come. He can hold more and more product. He don't have to wait for the producers. Next is insurance. Because of insurance, now the businessman is free, totally free to take risk and concentrate more in the production. He don't have to worry what will happen when if anything goes wrong, if somebody damage the goods, if organization got fire. I mean, he's totally free. He has given all the responsibilities now to the businessman in consideration of the premium. The next is transport. Transports, because of the transportation, what is happening now, it become possible for the businessman to make the goods available to the consumers at far off place, so the buying and selling can be going on without interruption. The next is banking and finance. Because of banking and finance, now it becomes easy for the producers to take the money so that he can manufacture more, or trader to take the loan so that he can purchase the goods from the producers, and also for the consumers so that he can think of purchasing the goods. We know that car loan is there, personal loan is there. Through these personal loan or the car loan, the paying capacity of the consumer increases and he can think of purchasing the commodities. Now let us discuss the types of auxiliary to trade. The first one is banking and finance. An efficient banking facility ensures easy and ready availability of cheap credit to the businessman and the trader, because of which the business expands. Second is advertising. Advertisement enables businessmen to reach to a large number of potential buyers. It increases the sale. Warehousing. It refers to storing or preserving goods until they are sold for final consumption. It helps businessmen to store goods and facilitates the availability of goods when required. Next, insurance. It acts as a shield against various risks. By paying a nominal premium at regular intervals, the loss suffered by a business can be recovered from the concerned insurance. Next is transportation. It widens the geographical boundaries of the business and it increases the buying and purchase of goods. Let us discuss the most important topic, that is business risk. Firstly, we see the definition. Business risk refers to the possibility that the business may fail to earn sufficient profit or incur losses due to certain unforeseen circumstances which are beyond its control is called business risk. The chances of mishap or the chances of loss or earning profit is called business risk. So business risk is, it is the possibility of the business may fall to earn sufficient profit because of loss on account of unforeseen circumstances, that is business risk. Let us see the types of business risk. There are two types of business risk. First is speculative business risk. It is that type of risk where the chances of earning profit and loss is 50-50%. We can earn the profit also and we can suffer a loss also. Such type of the profit is called speculative. Such type of risk is called speculative business risk. Another is pure business risk. It is that type of a risk in which either the loss will occur or it will not occur. So the chances of incurring either only loss or no loss at all is called pure risk. Either the business will suffer a loss or will not suffer any loss. That is called pure business risk. The next is nature of business risk. Let us see the nature. Following are some of the features of the business risk. First one is part and parcel of business. Risk is an essential feature of every business. Every business, irrespective of its size, nature, faces certain amount of risk. Business cannot be separated from risk. In fact, it is being said that profit is the reward of risk bearing. The second feature is result of unforeseen circumstances. Risk usually emerges. Why? Because future is uncertain, the circumstances that will happen in the future is not known. So these uncertainties may occur in the following forms. First is human uncertainties, that is strike and theft. So we don't know whether in the future, because of the humans, the strike will took place or somebody stole the things from the organization. This is a risk. Second is business uncertainties. We don't know how the government will influence the prices of the commodity by fixing MSP. We have seen some of the risk. Now let us see directly related to profit. Remember one thing, all the risks are directly related to profit. Profit is directly related to risk. It is being said that if you take more risk, the chances of earning profit will be more, because normally what happens, the businessman purchase the goods in bulk, presuming that the this type of the goods which he is purchasing will be purchased by the consumer in the future. If he purchase more goods, it means more chances is taking. Why I am saying that more chances is taking? Because if the consumer will not purchase, then what will happen? Whatever the money is spent on the goods will be lost, will be his loss. And if all the consumer will go according to his expectation, then he will enjoy the fruits. Next is degree of risk. The degree of risk varies from business to business. It totally depends upon the nature and the size of operation. Let us see the causes of the business risk. Causes are there. First one is natural causes. Earthquake, famine, because of which the businessmen suffer, is called the natural causes. Second is economic causes, change in the taste of the consumers. Economic causes are there. Human causes, uh, fraud, strike, that is human causes. Other causes, change in the interest rate, government make changes in the policies. These are the other causes. We will discuss all these causes in detail. First is natural causes. Unforeseen natural calamities such as earthquake, flood, and famines causes heavy and irreplaceable losses to a business. The business risk that comes from natural element is beyond the control of any business, that we have already discussed. Any loss which occurs because of unforeseen natural calamities is called the natural causes. Second is economic causes, because of consumers' preference, because of competitors' policies. If the businessman suffer any loss, it is called economic causes. Second is human causes. Why? Because of the human beings act. If the businessman suffer loss, it is called human causes. Example is strike, riots. The next one is other causes. Beside the causes mentioned above, there are few unpredictable events that may cause a business risk. What are those unpredictable events? That is political disturbances, exchange rate, interest rate, and so on. That's all we have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all.